The sun was shining, the sky open wide. Your words still fly like flags through our town, our guide. Stand up for truth, you called us to do. And after the bars, we are Charlie, raising red, white, and blue.
What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately, but...
Okay, hello, nice to meet you, none of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
Can you prove that? Well, thank you. May I have a hat?
No. So let me ask you, none of your business. Who do you plan to vote for?
I plan to vote for Kamala Harris.
Why?
I mean, you answered my question, so I'm done here. Like, there are people waiting.
Can you tell me her greatest accomplishment?
No, I can't.
Can you tell me a single accomplishment?
I cannot. I want to leave. Like.
With stripes on our shoulders and stars in our sights. So we'll rise hand in hand for the good of this land. We'll carry Charlie's flame. Let the flag still wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Through sorrow and toil, our voices ring true. We'll stand for the stars and the red, white, and blue. We'll carry Charlie's flame. Let the flag still wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Through sorrow and trial, our voices ring true. And after the bars, we are Charlie, blazing red, white, and blue. We are Charlie, you're Charlie, I am Charlie, a reborn man.
Hey.
Hey. What was that?
Huh?
Jeez. Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm better than I sound.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. This is After the Bars, the morning mayhem show. I'm here today with Jenn Marie. I'm so excited. We've been talking about this, I think, since last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Say hi to everybody.
It's hat day today.
Yeah, it's hat day. Yep. We're pretty excited about it.
Thomas is not, apparently.
Well, that intro it gets longer and longer every time I see it. I feel like minutes get added to it. I really like it. And I we just talked briefly just before. Do I still want to honor him? I think I do, and I made a short. And that's not going to be the intro moving forward with the show, but I definitely want to honor at the bare minimum his faith, and because it represents my faith, and he's helped me get more reconnected with my higher power. So I just really appreciate that. Something good had to happen out of it. Yeah,
absolutely.
I would be a liar if I said, like, I totally followed him before all of this and really even knew what he was about. But anyways, that's not.
I did notice one thing on it is that they spelled his last name wrong on the Charlie Kirk show part. It was a C.
Oh, yeah, because the AI.
Yeah, because of the AI.
Yeah. I would have, if I would have been the one who made that, I would definitely would have fixed that.
Did he work at Walmart, or was that just like a colors thing as it was going through?
I think it was just like a colors.
Oh, okay. So I was like, wow, he worked at Walmart. That's interesting.
He might have, like, he started that company when he was like 17.
Yeah, wasn't
18.
he 18 when he
Yeah.
started it?
Yeah, which is
Yeah, I didn't share the same ideologies as the man, but
Yep.
I respected the fact that he would debate, like we in chat talked about Hassan Piker, and they had, they've debated multiple times, and they were supposed to debate next week, and even he's taking it hard.
Mhm.
The only one
Yeah.
that seems to be getting off on it is Nick Fuentes, but of course he is.
Is he really? I kind of like
That
Nick,
guy's a mess.
but I don't like how. I know he's been the same throughout, but I didn't know he was that radical until recently, and I'm just like,
He's brags about his army.
Yeah. Oh, is that what the Groypers are?
Mm-hmm.
That is army. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sounds so white supremacist.
It
Just
does. My favorite thing he ever said was "Your body, my choice." So he said that on Twitter when they overturned Roe. But then a woman went to his house, and she wasn't like gonna try to end him, but she showed up at his house because she was really mad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was complaining about it, and he was so scared and all of this stuff. And I was like, well, your body, her choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes your words just have to come back at you.
Yeah.
If you're going to further hate speech like that, and that, oh my God. Sorry, somebody's blowing up my phone that I do not want to talk to.
Okay.
Yeah, listen to Mac. He knows that.
Let's not get started on
he knows
politics.
that, Sam. That's not what we're here for today.
Not even close.
Finally here to introduce people to the troubled teen industry, what it is, what its history is, what it does. Oh, that looks weird. Okay, I'm gonna stop messing with my hat.
I mean, it looks good both ways.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I have like a quick if I can present, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a quick from Unsilenced 10 things you should know about the troubled teen industry. I think that should help people
perfect
understand, and I'll just read it. Not like people can't read themselves, but did it come up?
Yep, I got it. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
All right, so 10 things you should know about the troubled teen industry. We were forced to endure verified brainwashing and abusive methods. For typically 2 days at a time, we were deprived of sleep and water. This is just, these are on the top here, a couple of survivor testimonies.
Mm-hmm.
Our letters were censored, read, and occasionally fully confiscated before being sent to us or received by our parents. And I can also add friends to that. It's like being in prison. They check your mail. So the troubled teen industry is a multi-billion-dollar network of punitive and powerful congregate care programs that claim to reform struggling youth through behavior modification and other non-evidence-based practices. These largely unregulated facilities are often referred to by a myriad of names, such as boot camps, residential treatment centers, therapeutic or religious boarding schools, and wilderness therapy programs. I'm also going to add conversion therapy because that is a part of it. So here are the top 10 things you should know about the industry. Programs utilize public and private funds. Due to a lack of required reporting, the exact number of youth in these programs is unknown. However, estimates suggest that about 120,000 to 200,000 young people reside in them annually, with more than 50,000 of these youth privately placed by caregivers. The programs can cost caregivers up to $30,000 a month, but the financial impact affects far more individuals than those who can afford the hefty price tag. Annually, approximately $23 billion, say that again, $23 billion in public funds supports the practices of programs. In addition, the industry preys on disadvantaged youth by tapping into public funds to house migrant children and youth from foster care, juvenile justice, and school systems, which is why I'm worried about the homeless kids right now.
Yeah.
So youth are often kidnapped, what we call gooning. And this is this is how this goes. So many programs recommend transporting a child to the facility via youth escort services or legal kidnapping. So it's legal child trafficking. Escort services, which sounds really weird, right? Are controversial as they are subject to little to no government regulation. The transport itself can be highly traumatic to young people, as they are often forcefully seized from their beds in the middle of the night by strangers, handcuffed or restrained, and then taken from their homes to the program. During this process, youth are commonly told, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Survivors report that this experience alone left permanent trauma lasting into adulthood. It's a punitive, tough love industry. I think that a few of us here are from the 80s, and we remember tough love.
I worked with tough love.
I don't believe in it. I don't believe those two words should go together because of what I experienced. So upon arrival at a program, youth are further traumatized when their belongings are immediately taken from them during the intake process. They also may be subjected to a forced strip search or cavity search during this time. It is not until after this process is completed that the young person is allowed to be acquainted with their peers. Since many programs utilize an antiquated point and level-based system, youth initially have no privileges and are forced to earn fundamental rights. This tough love approach attempts to correct behavior instead of treating mental health issues or working through prior trauma. Given the lack of individual treatment, youth are expected to adhere to the same set of stringent rules and harsh punishments. Some punishments and consequences reported to the TTI program include but are not limited to emotional, physical, and SA, deprivation of basic necessities, food, water, sleep, restroom access, attack therapy, aversion therapy, or conversion therapy.
What's aversion?
Aversion therapy is like avoidance, like they try to avert your mind from your trauma, basically. Yeah. Forced labor and exercise, isolation and solitary confinement, exposure to harsh elements such as extreme heat, snow, or rain, physical, chemical, and mechanical restraint. There is abuse, neglect, and unaliving. The industry's historic lack of regulation, transparency, and accountability has led to a clear pattern of abuse. Instead of delivering evidence-based therapeutic services and education to at-risk youth, young people often experience life-altering maltreatment such as psychological harm, SA and bodily assault, physical and medical neglect, hospitalizations, and even unaliving. In fact, over 350 youth have died at the hands of the TTI. That, and when I say over, it's much higher than that. It's just that since we don't have full records on purpose by the parent companies, we don't know how many of these kids.
Is that self harm or
it's
done
a combination? It's a combination.
Okay.
Yeah. So the abuse is further compounded by the program's function as a total institution where young people live under the program's authority. Youth are stripped of all autonomy, restricted from contact with their caregivers and the outside world, and forbidden to freely leave the program for months to years. Government officials and the public have started to notice survivors and the long-standing pattern of abuse in TTI programs. In July 2022, Senator Murray and Senator Wyden launched a federal investigation into 4 of the largest companies operating youth treatment facilities to better understand the child abuse allegations in the programs, which was the start of the SICA Act, the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, which was signed into law by President Biden December 24th, 2024. 5, they use educational consultants and deceptive marketing. This is so important because they use counselors at school, counselors, private counselors. They come up with these amazing marketing brochures and websites that just make it look like the most beautiful retreat you've ever been to in your life.
Yep. When I worked for the Yorks, who started Tough Love, I mean, I don't think they came up with Tough Love, but they ran at least the Tough Love in California. When I worked for them, I was already running a dual diagnosis drug program in Long Beach, and that was I didn't know this. They totally manipulated me. Not the Yorks, but the hospital I worked at. They told me, "Hey, go meet the Yorks, and then maybe you can talk to some kids at these high schools when they do these events, right?" And that they would take the parents in one room, and I would be with the kids, and I would just go around and just see where they're at and why they think they're there, and but then after that, they would try to debrief me to find out which kid would be appropriate for the inpatient care at Los Altos Hospital, which is the hospital I worked at. And I fell for it for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. They gave me like a company car, and I was feeling myself. I was 21, 22. And yeah, I thought it was awesome. And then one of the girls that I guess initiated her getting into the program, she tried to unalive herself in the program, and that was the first unaliving since I had worked there attempt. And I was done with that. I was like, no way. Because I read her treatment plan, and her treatment plan was so above and beyond of what I talked to her about in that high school gymnasium, separated from her parents. It was completely like this big, like grandiose version of what her and I had talked about. And I was like, no way. I quit on the spot, both places. And they had me going to like solicit the program to like different psychiatrists in the community. I had to do like 3 of those calls a week.
Yeah.
I was a counselor. I wasn't a marketing guy. I was barely I barely graduated.
You were barely an adult.
Yeah. So anyways.
I know. Sorry, everybody. On my stream, at least, I have a ticker on the bottom that says, "Warning, there will be cat butt stuff." So. I mean, I could control him, but I don't want to because I love him and he does what he wants.
Here comes cat butt.
Well, and it's funny because you very rarely will see Frank because she's shy and excuse me, and this one bullies her. I'm sure it's hard to believe, but so the educational consultant, so that's like everybody I'm sure has heard of an IEP. It's an independent or individual education program set by counselors at schools, and these counselors are in the pockets of the parent companies, and they cherry pick kids because that's what number 6 is. Obviously, vulnerable youth and caregivers are targeted, and I can speak to that personally because I was 14 when I was sent to my first program, and we were very much targeted. My parents were divorced from each other. My dad's second marriage was ending, and my mom had literally just escaped a very abusive relationship where I, at 14 years old, had to save my mom's life. And then I had to go. My dad had kicked me out of the house, so I went and lived with my mom and the guy and my sister, who was 1 at the time, and then I had to go back and live with my dad because my mom moved in with my aunt and uncle, and they had 2 kids already. So it was my mom and the baby plus the 2 kids plus my aunt and uncle. There's no room for me, so I had to go back to my dad's, and it was I was gone within 4 weeks. They got this private counselor lady, and she immediately recommended. She's like, "Well, you clearly have a drug problem," and I was like, "I don't have a drug problem." I'm like, I smoked a joint that was laced with something. I didn't know. My friend that got it didn't know. Was it
Sherm or like PCP or something?
PCP. It was PCP.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. I peed my pants and then tried to sign myself into school, but I couldn't hold the pen. It was terrible. Then I got called into the the principal's office. So I was flagged.
Yep.
I had been flagged, but I was flagged. Because I didn't really go to school. I just went to my friend Sam's house. Funny. I went to my friend Sam's house because his mom didn't care, and like everybody would go there and like hang out instead of go to school.
I remember my mom loved you. Yep.
Oh
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'd spend the night all the time. It was very innocent. We're kidding because I lived in Detroit and Sam lived in California. So it was very quick, and she showed this beautiful brochure to my dad and myself separately. And basically, I was being sent away for emotional concerns due to family issues. My dad and his second wife had somehow convinced themselves I was the reason for their divorce. Like, I mean, I was not great. I was not great to her. I would never lie. I was not great to her, but I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I was a child, and really all I wanted was to be with my mom.
Yeah.
And so this is how I ended up being talked into going. They would have gooned me had I not agreed. That was already, my dad and I talked about that. I would have been gooned if I would have said no. But I said yes because I wanted to get away from my dad. My dad and I had a terrible relationship. And, and that's just generational trauma. I realize now. At the time, it didn't, feel like it, but.
Were you ever close with your dad?
Oh, yeah. I am now.
No, what about before? Oh, that's awesome. You are now too.
Yeah, it's really healing, actually.
Man, that is.
Was I ever close in my childhood?
Yeah, before like your teens.
Yeah, from the period when my parents split up and my dad and I moved in with my grandma. And then he met his second wife, and then I just nothing again. So for a few years there, I was definitely before they got divorced. He wasn't really around a lot, but like he was kind of like this giant hero goofball of a guy. I loved my dad, when I was a kid, but when we moved out of my grandma's and he started to be abusive. No, I would say that my relationship changed with him when I was 11 years old. And I told him that, stop it. I told him that I hated him. Okay, I'm having a serious conversation. I told him that I hated him, and we were in the kitchen, and he walked away. And he came back like 15 minutes later, and he's like, "You hate me, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, I hate you." And he punched me in the stomach.
Holy crap.
My dad's 6'4".
So he left. He stewed on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He pumped up his nuts enough to hit a little girl. Yeah, that's
because
bizarre.
His father left him when he was a baby and started a whole new family with 7 kids with his second wife. Yeah. And my dad was raised by 3 very controlling and we'll just say controlling women. His mother, his aunt, and his grandmother. So yeah. Good times.
Okay, sorry to get you off track.
I mean, but my dad loved me that the best way he knew how, and he felt, and I just kind of went along with it. Like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. I'm a drug addict. Sure, if that's what you think. And that was the beginning of this problem that I've had of refusing to push back against things that are untrue, that are said to or about me. Where I'm just like, well, that's not true. Why should I have to fight? But I saw it as a reason to escape my parents and all of their messiness.
Yeah.
My parents were only in their early 30s at the time, mid 30s at the time. So, it was a very difficult time, and the industry, they just seized on it. And so that's the vulnerable youth and caregivers are targeted. I just think I'm going to use my own personal stories. I think it helps.
Yeah.
Regulation and reporting are lacking. So most states don't have much regulation or reporting. They do kind of a very culty thing of inter program reporting, and then it just gets buried. And I can use something that happened to me at my second program as an example. I was essayed by a staff member in a utility closet, and I just went to my room, and I was alone in that room. It had 3 bunk beds, but I was alone in this room, and I was already 15 at this point. I just turned 15 like 3 weeks before, and I went to my room, and I had a safety pin, and I just started shoving the safety pin in my ears. I decided I wanted to many times pierce my ears just to not think about what had happened.
Yeah.
And then so that night I went to sleep, and I did something so weird, and I don't remember if I ever did it as a little kid, and I never asked my parents, but I wet my bed.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and I had wet my bed, and this is a trigger warning. This is going to be gross. I was bleeding everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be rushed to a gyno, and they had the staff member in there with me, and the gyno asked, who I had been with. And
Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry.
no, you're good.
Was this the staff member with you?
No, it was a female
Okay.
staff.
Okay.
It was a female staff.
Okay. Sorry.
And I wouldn't talk because she was hovering over me.
Mm-hmm.
And I never said anything, and then I buried it, and I remembered it about a year ago. No, I think it was less than that, about 8-9 months ago. So these memories have been coming back to me for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Some days they really make me want to vomit. And then, so number 8 is many programs have cult origins, and that is Synanon, period.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that knows anything about Synanon, the game, is what they would call what I went through of the circle, which is attack therapy. Now, Synanon, that was in Santa Monica, it's very popular with a lot of Hollywood people in the 50s and 60s, and they would go there just to play the game. And the game was that you sit in a circle and someone gets picked out. And in our case, they would put a chair in the center, and you would have to sit in the center of the circle, and everybody in the circle, staff, your peers, would attack you and say every bad thing about you that they could come up with. The peers, for me, attack therapy, Ben, attack therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's oxymoron, right? But they got that from Synanon, and people used to go and scream at each other. There's documentaries about it.
Yeah, I went through that also, and
Mm-hmm.
they renamed the one mine was called tribal therapy.
Yeah.
But it was the same concept, center of the room. They would
Mhm.
break you down, but they would try to like lift you back up. They would,
We didn't get
they
that.
would do it until you cried, and
Mhm.
it was nuts.
And you would have to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to say thank you to everybody that attacked you. It was just terrible. I'm actually
That's
like
so culty. Sounds like
yeah.
Scientology bull baiting. Yep.
Listen, L. Ron Hubbard wasn't really that creative. He very much stole a lot from Chuck Diedrich and Synanon. I believe that he was very jealous of him because Narconon came. Listen, the Narconon, literally the end of it is like Synanon, and Chuck Diedrich started Synanon because he wanted to bring in what he called the junkies. He didn't want to just focus on drinkers. He wanted to really take advantage of drug addicts.
Yeah.
And that's how he started it. It started as TLC. It was called Tender Loving Care in Venice, California, and turned into this insane cult that is the blueprint for the troubled teen industry.
Yeah.
And their treatment, it's not evidence-based, and their education is not accredited.
Mhm.
There are hundreds of thousands of kids who went through these programs. I can take this off now. Who went through these programs that that thought that they got an education, only to get out of the program and find out that the credits didn't count towards graduation.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's-
Me, I've only been able so far to get my records from my first program. But I wasn't allowed to attend school because I wasn't a drug addict, so I didn't have all these crazy stories, you know. But you had to learn how to lie. I wasn't a very good liar, and I did not complete that program. And man, did I get punished for it. My restrictions were that I had to wear pajamas at all time. Once I was in my unit, when we were in evaluation, everybody wore hospital gowns because this was at a hospital for youth in Minneapolis, and I lived in Detroit. And so I had to wear my pajamas at all times. I had to wear a sign around my neck that said no male contact. So I couldn't initiate conversation with any male peers. Hi, Jeanette. Or staff unless they talked. Well, the boys couldn't talk to me, but if male staff wanted to talk to me, I could answer them. I also was restricted to the administration desk, which was in a hallway, and I had to sit on the edge of a bench with my hand on my knees all day while the rest of the kids were in class. And I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I used to have to, they would, like, every hour for 15 minutes, I would have to do this thing. It comes from things called seminars, and it's really stupid. If anyone's seen the program, it's, so you put it says, I'm going to do it where you can see it. So it's hands up, palms up, palms down, palms together, palms apart, palms up, palms down, palms together, palms apart. And you have to do that, and you'd have to say it over and over.
Wow.
Yeah. And they still do it. I know that all of the WASPs programs, it's WWASP programs, like the Academy at Ivy Ridge, which was what the docuseries on Netflix was, the program was based on.
Yeah.
That place. They did that. Also, one of the other things in the program that we did was they had towels that they wrapped in duct tape. And you have ads.
I just turned them off. I turned off the wrong one. The first time. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, people, Ben, to answer your question, people are really legitimately still just, still just learning about it. I want to see what Susie said. Compartmentalization is about the only way to survive. Otherwise, disassociation and or unaliving homicidal tendencies. Absolutely. I went through everything but the homicidal tendencies at the time, and throughout my life afterwards. But thank you, Danette. Hug back.
I love Danette.
Oh no, I love Danette. She's great. I just, I just want more people to know. And that's the problem. For me, there's no excuse for any parent or caregiver to willingly send or transport a child to any of these programs because we have the internet now.
Yeah.
I give my parents and the parents in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s grace. That's also not easy to say. Thank you, Shell. I love you too, Mac. I haven't talked to you in a really long time. But there's no excuse now. There's just no excuse. There's too much information. We literally have, and as far as like the state and local regulations and legislation, we're fighting that, but we now have federal law.
Yeah. So I was going to ask about the insurance companies. So when I worked in the industry, and it wasn't really that, I worked with teens and young adults, but it was a little different. But did the insurance company, we had to do something called PO charting, problem orientated charting. So when I would do a one-on-one with one of the kids, I would chart it, but I had to use specific language for the insurance company to pay. And there was like a utilization nurse that would, check all the charts to make sure we charted right. And there would always be notes in my inbox, saying, hey, you didn't say you were, that she was self-medicating, whatever,
Yeah.
And it seemed like the insurance companies were kind of getting hip to it then. Like, how are these insurance companies even paying for these still?
Because they have learned how to perfect because lack of regulation is the main answer, but they've also learned how to perfect writing code in such a way that reads to what they know what the insurance will cover. So they write each treatment plan out to fit the narrative that the insurance company needs. So it's wealthy families and families with good insurance. We were not wealthy. My dad was a truck driver, but he happened to be a Teamster. So he had really good Blue Cross Blue Shield healthcare. And I was a prime target.
Yep. My dad worked for General Motors. And even though I didn't live with my dad, I was still on his insurance plan. And I just remember like a lot of the kids were only going to be there for 30 days. And they told me I was probably going to be there for 60 because my dad's insurance would pay for 60 days.
Yeah.
As long as at the end of the first 30, it was worded right that I still needed to be there.
Yeah. And, my dad's insurance covered long-term.
Yeah, like a year.
The hospital in Minneapolis tried to keep me, and I would have been there until I aged out. I wanted to answer this really quick. Sure. Susie, back then, who believed kids if they told no one? They kind of still don't. And, there are still young survivors that I talk to that are just coming out and their parents, some parents come around and pull their kids, but they're brainwashed too. Anytime it seems that anytime that there's anytime that,
yeah.
I mean, who wants to face sending their kid to something that destroys them?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a place there was a place in North Carolina called Asheville Academy, and two young girls, one 13 and one 14, within 3 weeks of each other, unalived themselves in program. Now tell me how that works. Is that protecting your kids?
Yeah.
No.
Would they, the program you were at, would they do like marathon meetings? Do you know what I mean? Like they would, because I sat in a bunch of marathon meetings, sitting on your hands in a circle, and you couldn't talk unless it was feedback or, you were participating, with the facilitator. I remember like there was someone tried to unalive themselves, and they like 4 a.m. got us all out of bed like we were in the military, and that was my introduction into marathon meetings. Oh my gosh, man, it was like it was crazy, and you had to like walk to the cafeteria silently and
in a line.
It used to be just those those had to have been abusive. I mean, I remember the facilitator throwing chairs, big books, like the AA big book, whatever, grab kids by their, to try to break everybody.
Yeah.
So it's
no, it's true. The marathon meetings were, I mean, really, I believe to break us.
Mhm.
The only thing that saved me in that program was that on Friday nights in the common room, which is where everything would happen. Well, hey, Misha, glad to see you stuck your head out. It's good to see you. I was going to end up texting you today because it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But my saving grace was that on Fridays we could play records.
Oh, wow.
And the two records, this is so wild. Well, the two records, two songs specifically, but two records that really were the ones that I always chose were For Those About to Rock by AC/DC. And that song, I think it's because of the build up in the beginning for me was just like, like
it was one of my favorites.
You're bubbling over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin and Ramble On and For Those About to Rock, those two songs. Yep. Those two songs were what kept me alive.
Yeah. The only music we had, it was called Biofeedback.
Oh God. Wow. You just something up in me.
Yeah. We would do biofeedback, and I always chose Pink Floyd because, we're trying to relax, and they would put all those sensors on your head. And I mean, I thought it was like new, I was a kid, I was 14, I thought it was super new age, I was like, yeah, we're doing biofeedback. And
they'd make you do biofeedback and meditate, like forced meditation, which was laying flat down on the ground and being silent while you listen to music.
Yeah. Yep.
That's just really, it's like, I don't know. That's just like, I felt like, like heifers out in the field, like just put them in the room, tell them to lay down, turn the lights off.
Plug them into a machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Or lock you in a booth, with these little things all over you and have you pick the music. And man, yeah. But music was really what got me through that, and the fact that I was just so defiant and adamant that I was going to survive this, even though and then there was that guilt thing that they absolutely played on, was that I put myself there, and technically I did, but I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
They did that in the GATE program too. I don't know what the GATE program is, or do I? And I just can't remember.
Yeah.
Wow, Susie, that's, when I was in my second program, did you want to answer that?
Yeah, let me just answer it. KP Nazy, it's already done. I just need an address. Someone hit me up for another picture, and I thought that was the Lotus. And when I told them, they're like, no, I want you to draw a Phoenix kitty. So and I was like, oh, okay, well, I drew a Lotus. I go, that's for somebody. I'm sorry. I didn't remember it was you, if I'm honest. And please don't be offended by that. Yeah, I'm a whack job, and you know that already. So yeah, just email me an address and I will send it to you. I still got to print it up on some nicer paper, and then but it'll be frameable. And if you want it in a frame, I can put it in a frame. I have some extra frames, so just shoot me an email and just let me know what you want me to do. Actually, I'm gonna put it in a frame, so you don't even have to tell me if you want that or not. And I'll also send you a copy in case you're gonna take it to a tattoo artist. It'll be what they need. It'll be like a black line image that they'll need to do the tattoo, and then they can adjust the size. Okay.
There you go. Tattoo and picture.
And if you're in Arizona, my buddy owns shops in Lake Havasu. So if you ever
Oh, nice.
Go there. Okay.
Let's focus for a second on Susie Q's comments
Yes.
about her sisters. And oh, wait, I misunderstood. I thought you said that you told your sisters when you were 8. You're saying it took you near 50 years. Girl, let me tell you something. Good on you. Good on you. Because I, in my second program, was forced to tell my mom, my dad, and my grandma that I had been essayed at 4. I never told any of them about any of the other stuff, like what happened in the program. I was when I was in my third program, which was like was technically like an outpatient, like a day school, and I was living with my grandma, and I was working at a burger joint, and this guy in his 20s kidnapped me and held me for a weekend and essayed me all weekend, and then made me give him my dad's phone number, and he called my dad and said, you know, I'm done and you can pick her up here. And my dad thought I willingly got in that car with that man that night. To this day, thinks that I got in the car with that man. Did not. But I haven't talked to, but I do talk to friends. And I brought that up for Susie because I want you to understand how difficult it is to talk about this stuff. Mac, who's in here, Surviving Together. I don't know if you've been to her channel yet. Her channel is about surviving, well, all kinds of abuses, but mainly SA. And we also get shamed for not speaking out, which I fully reject. I absolutely reject that, because given the way that we're programmed, and it does not just happen to girls, but the way that we're programmed is to not say anything. And then also, if you're threatened, you're not going to say anything. Yeah. So, and also if you're in a weird, like, power position, like someone in power, you're not going to say anything. And then who's going to believe you, you know? So I get it, but I just want to say to Susie that I see you, and who cares how long it took you? Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting a link for her
You're
to
welcome.
Max Delio,
Oh, right on.
to her channel. There we go.
Right
Susie
on.
Q, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thanks for speaking out, Susie. That,
Yeah.
you know, it's good for you to know that you're not alone in that. It's trauma is
Oh, Misha beat me to it.
of course she did. I mean,
I
what do you
was gonna ask someone to do it, and I was saying, I didn't want to interrupt you. So
No, it's okay. We should talk more about that later, Susie, because I'm not trying to quiet you at all. I don't mean that, but to get more deep into that, because that's a pretty typical family dynamic. And that's really a shame. That really is a shame. There's no such thing. Good. Well, I'm glad that we're your tribe.
yeah, because I love Susie Q3.
Yeah, no,
Meaning
absolutely.
she's just like been super engaged in with the
Mhm.
conversation in the community, and I was like, "Bammo!"
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
the tribe grows.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about a few things that have already come out regarding the troubled teen industry, and then a couple more things that are coming out. We can't show these things to you because, unfortunately, Netflix is very quick to strike. Anyone that's ever been in my stream that was in the one that I did the Wayward trailer, and I got cut off.
Yeah.
So the very first documentary I know about, I don't even know if it's still on Netflix, but it's called Hell Camp, and that's about wilderness program. And then the second one that came out was called The Program, and it was a docuseries on Netflix about the academy at Ivy Ridge. And I know a couple of the survivors from there. Then on HBO, there is a documentary docuseries, I believe it is as well, 2 or 3 part, called Teen Torture Inc., which I really love the play on like Teen Torture Inc. instead of Teen. Now I'm having the problem. Troubled Teen Industry. So it's still TTI, but that's how I call it, would be Teen Torture Inc. And you have survivors of so many programs.
Yeah.
A really, really sad story about that documentary is Evan Wright, who is a survivor of the Seed. And the Seed came from this couple that left Synanon and opened this place called the Seed, technically the first of these congregate care, this type of facility. His name was Evan Wright. He also wrote the book Generation Kill, because as a journalist, he was embedded with troops in Iraq, and they made a HBO series about it, which was really amazing.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was I think it was the day after Teen Torture Inc. was released on HBO, Evan unalived itself.
What was it called, the one you just said?
Generation Kill.
Generation.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, but of all of the things that Evan Wright saw and went through with the troops overseas, that documentary coming out pushed him over. And he was like a primary subject of that. There's another one. We're still waiting for distributions, but it has won so many awards over, gosh, I don't know, 15 different film festivals, and it's called The Kids Are Not All Right. So that's just, again, it's waiting for distribution on that one. And I'll keep everybody posted when I hear from Liz Ionelli. Hers is the orange book behind me called I See You Survivors. She's one of the featured survivors in that documentary.
The orange book behind me?
But no, it's called I See You Survivor. This orange book behind me.
Okay, sorry.
It's cool. I highlight my friends' books. Maybe one day I'll put my own there, according to my therapist.
Do it, man.
I'm just mad because I lost all of my journals. But yeah, that's okay. So also Netflix, and listen, I mean, I think I've been a member of Netflix since it started in like 2007 as like a DVD thing. And I know that they're just, big money streaming company, but I have to tip my hat to them because they're doing more for us survivors to be seen than anyone. Because now on the 25th of September, there's a new series, a scripted series coming out on Netflix called Wayward. And it stars Toni Collette, who's amazing. She's
Carry on my wayward son.
Right. So it's a therapeutic boarding school called Wayward Pines, and somebody a girl who's a woman who had gone there comes back to the city with her wife, who's a cop, and the girl who had been there is pregnant. And madness ensues. I don't know how to explain it necessarily because I have only seen, trailers and sneak peeks and stuff like that. I haven't seen anything. But then there's also another. Let's see, where do I find that? There's also a new documentary coming out called Wilderness, and this is with the people who run Unsilenced. Let's see, what do we have, Shell? I had someone say to me one time, I don't know many girls that haven't been. I was shocked. Well, no, honey, you're not. 1 in 4 women have been. And Mac can say it probably better than me because my estimates might be off. It used to be 1 in 3, but it's and then 1 in 12. Don't quote me. It's somewhere between 1 in 8 and 1 in 12 men also were when they were boys. So, but again, because you're shamed and you bury it, so you're not looking for information, just like, believe me, when I found out that if a DV person, an abuser, 1 in 3 in girls under 18, 1 in 6. There we go. See, I knew I was on it, but I got you. That's why I got you, babe. So Wayward's coming out on Netflix. I'm not sure what Wilderness is coming out on. I will have more information on that moving forward. Oh, hey. Late is better than never, babe. Late is better than never. So these are all really good things. Now I do want to discuss something. So everybody, I can't say, you're Sunny because you're shorter.
Is she shorter?
Mm-hmm.
I just assume everyone's super tall. Because everyone has like so much confidence in the chat most of the time.
So I want to talk about the SICA Act, which is the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, which is a federal law that was unanimously was unanimously voted on in the Senate last December. And shout out, and anyone that knows me knows how hard this is. Shout out to Speaker Johnson and Steve Scalise for being heroes and pushing for our bill to go to the House. And we did win the House. We had 33 Republicans that voted against it. I have a list. I email them and tweet them every day asking them.
Will you
why.
email me that list?
Absolutely.
Thank
and
you.
I also have 23 who did not vote. So I want to know, not mean, and I'm never mean.
23 on the right that just didn't show.
Actually, no. It both.
Yeah.
Because I've been looking into it. I'm still looking into the money to see which one of these people are taking money. I'm not really ready to talk about that yet because of our political climate right now.
Awesome. No,
However,
I appreciate that.
The most important thing, there was supposed to have been a contract, okay, that was to be signed by the Secretary of Health, the Department of Health and Human Services, by February 6th, 2025. It's called a NASM contract. So you're supposed to sign a contract with NASM, which is the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. And you can imagine why our Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't want to sign that contract, right?
Right.
So our law is in place, but the Secretary of Health and Human Services is refusing to sign the contract to study abuse and restrictive practices and mandated biannual reports to Congress on abuse prevalence, regulatory gaps, and funding. So every day I send the same tweet to everything Secretary Kennedy posts on Twitter. I email him. None of it's mean. It's just pointed because I'm not willing to pay for verification just so I can write longer. I can fit it in the allotted, amount. And I tweet him and if the Department of Health and Human Services as well, everything that they tweet, I respond every day with it. I email every day with it, and I'm not alone, because just because they pass the deadline doesn't mean that they get to kill the law, right? It just means that they're stalling because, in my experience, kids don't matter like politicians constantly preach that they do. They just don't matter.
They don't, and it's all always super disingenuous. They
matter. They're pawns. They matter. They matter when they're needed.
Yep.
But if anybody has any questions, I don't know. When I was reading, I wasn't seeing anything in the chat. If you have any questions,
I was starring a few things. There's on StreamYard they have a new thing that they put a little question mark where the star is. So they're easy.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're easier to find, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But some of these we might have already talked about.
Oh yeah. Ben, wow, and all the studying in psychology, I've never run into that. Who is the complete idiot that thought that up? Charles Diedrich. The guy he's dead. The guy who founded Synanon.
Yeah, didn't he always wear like coveralls? Like
yes, and then he made everyone wear coveralls and shave their heads. And yep, yeah, absolutely. That is Synanon to a T. Just reading back on the chat and sending love to everyone. Oh, thank you. Did you have any questions that you had for me, Sam? Did you want to share any of your story with us, Sam?
Yes. Yeah, I shared a couple little things. I'll just say how I ended up getting being put into the treatment center. I was actually at two. One was called Coldwater Canyon, and but they were both the same company. And then the second one was Pacific Shores. One was in Redondo Beach, one was in Hollywood. And
was the one in Hollywood the one that's the one that Drew Barrymore was at?
Yes. Yep.
I thought so. She was there for 18 months.
Yeah. And when I was there, my roommate was Adam Rich from Eight Is Enough.
We talked about that. That's right.
Yeah. And him and I took off to Mexico, and yeah. I was 15, he was 16, and we took his mom's car to Mexico. We had like $25 and a pack of cigarettes.
Hey, back then, man, $25 and a pack of cigarettes would get you.
We drank Coronas, got free shots of tequila, and barely made it back. We barely made it back. And of course, his parents were at my parents' house, and it was a big thing. And we weren't allowed to hang out. And then, of course, we wanted to hang out even more after that.
Yeah.
And but he was doing his acting thing, and we just kind of fell apart. But
sure.
I originally
alive. I don't remember.
What's that?
Alive? Is he alive?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Okay.
I want to say no. Did he OD on cocaine?
I don't remember. I feel like he might have.
Yeah. So I'm sure someone's looking it up.
It's not
my
me.
mom.
Susie said she wants to help, so I just get. Wait, why didn't it? Oh, failed to post. It wouldn't post. I was trying to give her my. Oh, I know why. And I will never call it anything but Twitter, so everybody knows.
Right on. So my mom, the first time I went, literally found a. I'd been like, she told me if I'm not home by 10 o'clock, the doors are getting locked.
My grandma used to do that to me.
Mm-hmm. And I would, be asked out. She's like, I don't care if you sleep out back by the pool, one of the chairs, or if you can go sleep at a friend's house. But if you're not home by 10 o'clock, I'm like, So she followed through with that. And so I was a runaway for, here and there.
Me too.
But still talking to her, and so they put me in for that. She said, you can come home. And I was like, okay. And I was so happy.
Yeah.
When I got home, she said, we're going to take you to meet, a therapist. I don't even think they called it a therapist, but I remember going in and then hearing the doors lock behind me, and they're like, those big magnetic.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the heck? And then these guys came out, and they took me, and they let me just wave goodbye. And I was like, what the hell's happening?
Mm-hmm.
and my mom was just like, we'll be here for the family meetings. Just do what they say, and and share what we're trying to help you. We're trying to fix you. They kept saying fix you.
Yeah.
And
Fix you is a big.
yeah. And I was like, fix me? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And so that was the first time. And then the second time, and then it was, it wasn't so much like the tribal, like the stuff that was like abusive the first time. It was pretty therapeutic, although they did try to diagnose everybody with MPD, multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Like everybody had it. They were trying to bring out they were calling it the ish, which is the personality that talks to the host and all the other personalities.
Yeah.
They would be like, we're gonna get to your ish. We're gonna get to your ish. I'll never forget that.
And isn't it funny for people like us with such big personalities? Could you imagine having more than one?
Oh my God.
I can barely manage the one I have.
Yeah, that's right. And then the second one is when I was roommates with Adam Rich, and that was the tribal therapy one. And I remember going there, but I was happy to go for some reason, because I had such a pleasant time the first time for the most part. I was like, you know what? Yeah, cool. And, my mom was like, it's in Hollywood. You're going to, I heard it's a really nice place. And they showed me the brochure, everything. And I got in there and it was nighttime and they were in group and it was like 11 o'clock at night. They were in a group in a circle and they just threw me right into the group and sat me right in the middle. And they were like, why are you here? And I was like, I don't know. My mom told me to come here. And I wouldn't. They were trying to get me to cry. While the counselor, the facilitator, was trying to get me to cry. Like no, you've hurt your parents. And I was like, no, I haven't. I just, I like to go surfing and I like to not come home. She locks the doors at 10 o'clock. What am I supposed to do? And so finally I wouldn't like break or cry or anything. So they got the biggest kid in there, and I'll never forget this to this day. She was like, okay, just hold hands, like you're playing tug of war. Yeah. Like this. And so we had to play tug of war until we couldn't play tug of war no more. He was big and he'd probably done it a million times because he was the big kid, right?
Tug of war is a thing in a lot of programs. It's so
yeah,
weird.
and I was doing it until I couldn't lift my arm, and I sat down and she goes, why are you here? And I just started bawling.
Yeah,
I mean,
want to break you immediately.
Yeah, uncontrollable bawling. And then all the girls in the group, which this was nuts. All the girls in the group just came and like sat next to me and like comforted me. And I was like, oh wow, what a trip. And I instantly fell in love with this girl, Claire, but that's a whole nother thing. She was from Thousand Oaks.
That's okay. I had a little boyfriend in evaluation at my first program. That's why I had to wear the no male contact sign.
Yeah.
Because in order to graduate from there to your unit, from eval to your unit, you have to. Another thing is ratting people out, which again, very Scientological, very Synanon-ish. You couldn't leave evaluation unless you busted somebody for doing something. And I was like, as the classic people pleaser that I've always been, I was like, well, I light cigarettes on my bathroom light bulb, and they're like, that's not good enough. And then I just like, I'm coming up with all this stuff and like, that's not good enough. And it was like 45 minutes and I'm sobbing, and they're like, you have to know something about something. And this kid's name was Tab, and he was from Grand Blanc, by the way.
Oh wow.
And he looked like a California surfer boy, like like blonde. He came in tripping on LSD. It was hilarious, but he had that California boy look.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize I liked until I saw him, and I was like, oh, hey. And it really was like stealing kisses, by the linen closet, or just innocent kid stuff. But so then I had to come out and be like, fine, Tab and I are in a relationship. So he hated me because he got in trouble.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then I got in trouble and had to wear that stupid sign. I mean, it reminds me of that Die Hard with a Vengeance, the one with Samuel L. Jackson, where Bruce Willis has to go into Harlem and wear that sign in his underwear that says "I hate people." And I it just came to me recently, but that's how I felt. Like, I was like the Scarlet Letter, right? Like only basically it was like a W for hua instead of A for adulteress.
Yeah.
And it was all of the ways that they can humiliate you and make you stand out to break you. I think that one of the ways that I explain it, just how my brain works, is like going to Marine Corps boot camp. So Marine Corps boot camp, for anyone that doesn't know, or any boot camp, but mainly Marines, because the Marines are the first line, is that they break you down completely and strip you of your soul, and then they build you back up as a killing machine, your group think. But the troubled teen industry breaks you down and tears you down and then sends you home. They don't build you up.
Yeah.
They just send you out into the world. And we don't have a very successful survival or success in life rate. There obviously we don't have the research to say how many survivors we've lost, but I know that it's a lot between ODs and unaliving.
I don't remember ever getting any tools to like anything. I really don't. Like the only thing I really remember that was pleasant and that I kind of used moving forward was the biofeedback.
Yeah.
Was like being able to calm down with music. Like when my brother was my brother was killed shortly after that. Yeah. And I listened to Pink Floyd to get to not, drink and try to, slowly kill myself. And
I will, Matt.
That was the only thing I remember that helped. I don't remember receiving anything good. And I would be honest about that. I'm like, oh yeah, no, we did this, we did that.
That's why I was so surprised. But I think that Drew's experience, can you grab Ben's comment about the gateway thing? I think it's really important.
Yep.
But that's why I was so surprised to hear Drew talk about her time at the place in Hollywood that you went to, that it saved her life. But Drew was in serious trouble. So for that, I can completely not that one. No, go up.
By Ben or James? Hey, James.
Ben. Hi, James. Ben. It starts with No Wonder Why.
Okay.
Between two of Max. There you go. Yeah. I just feel like this is really important to highlight because it's absolutely true. With all the recidivism that happens with prison anyways, when you lock kids up, it makes them even more prone to, I didn't necessarily go to, technically, I guess I went to a life of crime because I became like a professional runaway. Whenever I was free, I would run. I didn't want anything to do with my family. And the funny thing is that a lot of times I would run to my mom because my mom wasn't involved with sending me. She didn't want me to go, but she couldn't have me around because she was living with her sister. And so after that, wherever my mom was living, I would go and run away to my mom's house. And then as soon as my grandma would find out, she'd make my mom bring me back. It's crazy. And, and then my 20s were a blur of rage and impulse. I lived completely on the impulse of chasing fun. I didn't want to feel anything but the good times, the fun times, concerts, hanging out, just not, and I had periods, some of my friends joke about my summer of vodka, which was summer of 1990, where I was just in a bottle of Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill and vodka cranberry. Well, because I OD'd at 17, so I had a drug phobia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And which saved my life. I know that sounds ridiculous, but
No,
dying
I totally
at
understand.
17 saved my life because I was a runaway. No one would take me to the hospital, and I had to keep myself alive, which yeah, that's up there in the top 3 hardest things I ever had to do. And it made my anxiety disorder much worse.
Yeah.
But it kept me off of drugs because I
Mhm.
definitely would have gotten into H and
Mhm.
been gone for sure. I know I would have, but
Yeah.
it's, and it took 38 years between when I was first sent away to the day that I heard about it on a podcast called The Last Podcast on the Left. I know
Mhm.
the day. I don't remember the day that I quit smoking. I know it was in November of 23, but I don't remember the day. 3 or 2, 3.
Jen, I'm listening. I just have to do something real fast. I'm just going to turn this off, but I'm listening. It'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, now I'm totally forgot what I was.
Sorry. That's why I didn't
No,
want to
you're
interrupt
fine.
you.
Oh, so for 38 years, I didn't have an answer for what was going on with me, why why I had such a hard time holding down a job. Like I had no problem getting a job. Like my dad would say, like I could get any job, but I couldn't. I have follow through problems. And so for 38 years, I just believed the narrative that I was sold by my dad, which was just that I was useless and that, there's nothing like mentally wrong with me. I was just like, like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. I was like one of the bad nuts, and the squirrel was like, nah, nope, get rid of that one. That's how I felt for 38 years. And what I've come to realize is the trauma, not only from my childhood, but the severe complex trauma from 3.5 years of troubled teen industry abuse really stunted me.
Mhm.
But it also has led me to afterwards in my 20s being diagnosed with ADD because they didn't even start testing females until the mid 90s. Even though I showed
Crazy.
all the classic signs.
Yeah.
And I've also been diagnosed on the spectrum
Yeah.
now as well. And it makes sense, but man, is it hard to square that with myself. Like I've talked to friends about this. Like I'm grateful to know all of this stuff, but man, it really would have been nice to know while I was living this life why I was so screwy,
We are almost the same. Like that's exactly how I lived my 20s. I did work, but I worked in cool industries. You know what I mean?
Same.
But I could get a job anywhere. Like my brother, every time I would get like some new crazy job, he would like come to my office and this big thing, and I'd just be like,
yeah,
like, how do you do this? He's like, I don't understand how you do this, but I wouldn't hold it for long because either I lied about my education or something else. The only real job I finally did get, and it was because I was fascinated with computers, was with Microsoft.
Yeah.
And
me too. I was fascinated with computers too.
Yeah, I super fascinated. But I would run away.
Twins that were separated at birth, by the way.
It seems so, man. It's super nuts. The first time we had talked on the phone, it was like I was running errands and picking up my daughter.
Yep.
And it was,
I went everywhere with you that day.
Yeah, it was crazy. Definitely like a soul sister. It's a trip.
Oh yeah. Like I told you, and I told other people, your soulmates aren't always, you can have more than one soulmate, and your soulmates aren't always your intimate partner. And it doesn't always mean that what we believe it means. It's, I have a soul family, a chosen family, and I have my biological family. I just happen to feel more comfortable with my soul family because you see me.
Right.
And really, I mean, and you can look back in the last 2+ years, and I've never been any different than I am right now. I'm always exactly this person. It's like you're always exactly who you are. You know, so that's authenticity, and that's all I seek is authenticity and understanding.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm about to go to my mom's, and my mom loves me like crazy, but you know, I get on her nerves because we're on different speeds. As
Yep.
she said, we're on different speeds. So wait.
Yeah, I should talk to Mariana about that, because her and Hazley, like, they just are missing each other somehow. And maybe if we can identify, I mean, we've been talking about it, we've identified it, but yeah, it's getting figured out.
Yeah, listen,
for like another
mother-daughter stuff is real. It's not just them. It's
yeah,
mother-daughter stuff is, you know, clearly I can't give a full perspective on it because I only know Mariana a little, but Hazley seems a lot like you. But she could also have, you know, traits that Mariana has, and that might be why they clash. But my mom and I are so different. My mom was always super shy and meek, and not me. I'm a big mouth.
yeah.
You know, I always said I'm like my dad, and I was like my dad, but he said something so beautiful to me a few years ago. He's like, you know, you have your own spirit, and you should be proud of that. You should stop saying that we're the same, because we're not.
Right.
And then it hit me, and I was like, man, when this guy is deep, he's deep.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often, but you know, but you know, and I have half siblings. They're both good to see you too, Tiff. You know, they're both much younger than me. My mom had my sister when I was 13. My dad's third wife had my brother 3 months before I turned 18. And you know, they're my siblings, but
yeah,
you know,
I have a ton of half siblings too.
Well, my poor dad has
marriages.
7 younger half siblings. 7.
Oh,
but
wow.
they all grew up together.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to get going soon, because it takes me about 40 minutes to get to my mom's. We've got to go to the our version of the DMV. But I just want to thank you. I'm so glad that we finally did this.
Me too.
And then we can do another
part one of
yeah, because I haven't really told enough of. I want to show everybody my records. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's absolutely mental.
I think the whole record story too of when I went back to work at that hospital.
Oh yeah.
Records as a kid, and
you did.
The records keeper or whatever, she's like, I don't know if you need to read this, and I was like, no, I'm good. And she gave it to me, and because my you know, there's an admitting doctor and an attending doctor, right? The admitting doctor is the psychiatrist, you know, yeah, technically. So anyways, my attending, who I talked to every day and shared everything with, and who was trying to, you know, help me, was now the medical director of that hospital. And now I work there, and I got to read all his notes on me as a kid. And you know, I didn't last there but maybe another 3 weeks.
Yeah, you guys will be disgusted when you see my records.
Yeah,
I was called seductive and flirtatious. It's insane. It's insane. But my therapist asked me to go back and look at them recently and see where I can tell that I'm autistic. And I did. I went back and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, man, they really, really missed the beat with me. Right?
Yeah.
Like, they really, really missed it. Not for a lack of trying. My dad tried. I started going to shrinks when I was 11, but they were all these gross men, and they would make me feel really uncomfortable. So I would just, like, mess with their minds, because I was so smart that I just would, like, play with their minds. But what's the point of doing that if you're gonna just play games, right?
Yeah.
But they were playing games with me. They weren't listening to me. They were trying to start a dialogue or, some of them were just really pervy. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
say.
Yeah,
I mean, I know of 2 psychiatrists that I went to when I was young that were later arrested for
Sure.
misconduct with young girls and young women.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross. So there's a lot more to cover, but I'm really excited that we finally, after all this time, got part
Yeah.
1 out of the way. Yay us.
Yeah.
Yay. So I don't mean to cut everybody off, but
No,
you
that's
know,
fine.
I do have to, got to look out for my mom.
Yep.
And but I want to thank everybody who was here. I have
Yes.
seen all of you. I have seen many of your comments. I'm sorry that I know normally I'm really good with the chat, but this was really, really important to me to get out to a different audience. So don't think that you've gone unseen. I love all of you that I know, and I appreciate everybody, even those who I don't know. You know me better now. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I got that. But thank you all for being here, for your questions, for your comments, for your support, for
Thank you
me and Sam. Oh, thank you.
for coming
Thanks
on
for,
the show.
thanks for finally getting back to me. You know what? I can't say anything about it, even though Mac's gone. I'm really horrible about being in contact too.
I remember at first, like, I thought I was gonna lose the entire show, like when I first started, and I was struggling with like doing everything, and finally I think everyone just realized, no, he's truly just, you know.
And I kind of I want to maybe talk to you about some stuff with my channel too, because I really am still, I don't think I'm the only one anymore doing TTI content, but
Did you stream this to your channel?
I should have.
Oh yeah.
I should have, but I really, that was stupid. And then I didn't want to deal with 2 chats, as I knew.
Do you mind if I edit a video of this and I'll give it to you and you can upload it as a pre-record? Yeah.
No, not at all. I don't mind that at all. I think that would be awesome. And I think that'd be a really good way to give me the momentum to come back. Because this has really energized me, as I feel comfortable with you. And we're not talking about anything. I mean, this is controversial, but it's my mission. We're not talking about religion and politics, which I can do, just right now don't want to, because it's
those are exhausting. They're exhausting. And it's slippery. Yeah. Because anyways, we'll talk about that.
So I just want to again say thanks to Sam for the platform. Thank you all for showing up. I send love and support and light to everybody. From my heart. Who's a whack job?
Me. No, she calls me a whack job all the time.
That's all right. I'm a whack job too. So you're welcome. You're welcome, Jeanette. And by the way, don't forget.
Yeah, never settle. Never settle.
Never settle. All right.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go too then. I was gonna stay on for a second, but I got nothing.
Oh, okay. I talked you out, eh?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll download this and I'll work on it for a while and edit something up. Yeah.
I have to be back here. I have to be back here by the evening anyways, because we have Rock Tales tonight. So I have to be at the computer for that with the Discord and stuff. So
awesome.
I'll be home later. It is the best shirt. It's not the best shirt ever, but it's up there.
Yeah. Well, I love you guys. Thank you so much, Jen, for coming on and sharing your story with our community. You've been a part of this community longer than I have. I don't know who's come from where, or I just don't. It doesn't matter. This is the After the Bars community.
I came from where you went through.
Yeah, where I went through.
I came from where you went through. Yeah. That's how I know a lot of these beautiful people, but the rest of them come from you. You've brought people because of your personality into this that I just love. Danette, Shell, Darcy's. I don't want to forget anybody, but there's all these people, newer people that I didn't know before you.
They're all so understanding.
And it even took me a while to come to you, and you know that.
Yeah.
Because of your association. But I who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Gosh.
Yes, DMV is of the devil. We call it the Secretary of State here in Michigan because we're weird.
Yeah, the Secretary of State in Michigan. Yep. That's right.
But yeah, we have to get the cars titled over into my mom's name so that we can legally drive them now that my mother has won the lawsuit. By the way, everybody, my mom won the probate suit against my stepdad's daughter.
Yeah. Thank you, Misha. I appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you. We love you. And we did. We stayed with you for you because of you.
I appreciate that.
Because we saw you.
Yep. And now you're making me cry.
Good. I love to make Sam cry.
I've tried. I should make a compilation of all the times I've choked up.
Do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you.
Ex-skinhead prison gang member cries on YouTube daily.
You're what are you, a girl? That's what I always say to you. What are you, a girl?
I know you said it right before we came on.
I did.
You're such a girl.
It's just because I love you.
Should I do this? Should I do that? What do I do?
Yeah, exactly. And then you had your hat on, so I was like, I got to put a hat on.
Yeah, I should share my disciplinary record from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. You guys would just be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that would be fun.
When in Rome,
listen. I always, I had a fear of going to prison. Women's prisons are way worse than men's prisons. Because of the psychological chick stuff, Yeah,
because they create like, families and things like that.
Yes, mothers and is just crazy.
Oh,
but I just had that attitude of like, if I go to prison, I'm gonna run that place. That's gonna be my castle.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't want to go to prison because I'm really not good at isolation because I was in isolation a lot in the TTI, a lot of isolation. Yeah. And I was an only child and I was punished a lot. So I was, in my room. I mean, I was isolated just as a kid, growing up at my grandma's house, stuck in my bedroom with nothing but my music. And I was like, that's fine. Leave me with my music. And then what did I find? I found my theme song as a child, which is institutionalized by suicidal tendencies.
Oh yeah. Mike Muir.
Mike Muir. Yeah. And I knew those guys. Back in the early 2000s, see what happens? We'll talk for hours. In the early 2000s, there used to be a pirate radio channel by those guys, and they had a compound. And I was living in Florida, but I almost moved out there to live on the compound with the guys from I don't even know if I can say it's from suicidal because that's that's a bad word.
Oh, but,
and Infectious Grooves, like that group of guys.
Yep. I was really good
friends involved with that radio station.
Yeah. I was really good friends with Emery, their first drummer, who got fired for being too fast. Like he couldn't slow down. But yeah, he
maybe should have laid off the booger sugar.
Yeah. Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we're out of here. Love everybody.
Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Take care of each other and be kind.
Yes, be kind. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Bye, guys.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay away.